What is up, everybody? Welcome back to I1 Entertainment. We are here with a castaway from iSurvivor38 Milan, part of the Perla tribe. It is Bill. Bill.
Hi.
I guess bring me back to just like, I know you were busy during the reveal and the night one, but you were able to obviously see the cast, see your tribe, talk to them a little bit. So bring me back to like when you saw who you were playing with, and then when you saw the castaways that you were going to be on a tribe.
Yeah, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I mean, obviously iSurvivor is like a super popular game. It's been around forever. Like almost everyone that I've ever played with in the org community has like talked about Sandy and talked about this game. And I've heard really, really great things. And I've heard like, oh my gosh, so much drama, blah, 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 blah. So like the pendulum has swung both ways. And I knew that playing this game was going to be crazy. I just really didn't know the kind of people that would play, because in my head, everyone who's ever could have played iSurvivor has played. So when I saw the post that it was going to be like all new players or only new players for a while after this, I was actually quite nervous because I've been out of the org community for a little bit. I'd say like a year. I've played a couple of games here and there, but nothing on like the level of like an Endure or Conquest or iSurvivor or anything like that that's been around for so long. So when I came into the game, I realized the generation and the communities they've just drastically changed. These people, I can't keep up with them at all. They're up all night long. It's not how it used to be playing these games. So when I was entered into the cast and I saw all of the faces, I was surprised to see a few familiar faces, but I was really happy to see like 90% of the people that were playing this game are people I've never heard of before, I've never seen before, I've never played with before. So I'm super, super stoked to get to know everybody, but I am quite nervous for a few folks. I was not happy to see Jess. I was not happy to see Maddie. I was not happy to see, I think it's you, Sam, you. Those are three pretty big players, in my opinion, just based off of what I know of them. I know Jess was like a huge Skype player. Maddie has proven to be ruthless and bloodthirsty and like incredibly genuine and kind and humble and funny and friendly, but like he's the game player and he's in it to win it. And Sam, you, just from what I know about him, is super talented in a bunch of areas. Just watching his video, he's very eloquent. I think he can speak really well. The way that he molds the words into his phrases to speak them out loud is very reminiscent of how I communicate, especially with my job as a speech teacher. So that made me nervous that there could potentially be another perfect speaker out there. None of those people are on my tribe, which is good. I'm hoping that they'll get taken out by their own tribe mates. And then I did recognize Emily. Emily and I played a game before, but she went out really, really early. I know she's super loved in the community, or, hated. She mentioned like she's kind of like this dichotomy, but I've heard a lot about her. I tried getting to know her in another game that we played, and unfortunately her time just didn't last that well in that game. But like, I'm stoked that there's someone on the tribe that I somewhat know. I think that that's important to make critical connections early on, and especially with me being gone that first 2 days of the game while I was traveling for work, it was nice to have a familiar face. But everybody seems super fun. Oh gosh, I can't remember my notes, but I think I wrote down Tim and it was like the last video that I watched. I can't remember, but I think they were like, I'm ready to gatekeep and gaslight everyone in this game. Just kidding. I'm here to make friends. Yeah. Tim and Robin, I think, are going to be like my people. Just watching everyone, like I watched everyone's video. I took all of these notes. I did like check marks next to people that I think I could work with. I crossed out their names for people that I didn't want to work with at all. I put question marks next to people who I didn't know too much about and might have been worried. And but Tim and Robin, I was like, I need to get on a swap with them, or I need to make it to merge with them. They just seem like Tim was like, bah, his whole time, which is very much like me. And Robin just seems like they're here for all the right reasons. When I play these games, I play to make friends, to build connections, to pass my time. And I feel like Robin sees this as, yeah, it's cool and it's fun and it's important to win. And that's why we all play these things. But at the end of the day, I'm here to build relationships. I'm here to make friends. I'm here to challenge myself. And that's very much how I see me as a player. So seeing those two and never knowing them before, never meeting them before, I'm really motivated to do whatever I can to keep them in the game. If I am able to win a power and send it to someone on a tribe, they're at like the top of my list. If I get to go on this little walk up a mountain or through the catacombs, and I get to pick someone to join me, I would definitely pick one of those two. So I'm really excited to get to know everybody. People on my tribe don't seem too talkative yet, unless they're all communicating in alliances and chats without me. But our tribe chat isn't super busy, but my one-on-one chats are going at a decent rate. So I'm really excited to get to know my tribe mates. I think we've got some really creative, some really friendly, some really energetic people on this tribe alone. It doesn't really feel like the personalities on our tribe are so over the top or so underwhelming. So I think my tribe specifically has a really great mix of people from different wakes of life, who communicate in different styles, who emphasize different elements of orgs, of LRGs, of our entire community. So I'm like excited to get to know everybody more, but man, am I nervous for Jess, Maddie, and Sam.
Now you were talking about a little bit about your tribe mates towards the tail end of that. You want to walk through them really quickly and opinions, and like if you see yourself working with them, especially come this first tribal council tomorrow, if you guys happen to lose.
Yeah. So the first person that I immediately gravitated towards is the other Sam. I think it's Sam D is on my tribe. I think all my notes are in the other room. But I loved her, and like immediately I'm like, okay, so we're the oldies in the whole game. Like I think her and I are the oldest. There might be some, I know that there's a couple of people in their 30s, and I think there's someone that's like 31 or 32 in the game. But immediately I messaged Sam and I was like, looks like we're going to be the mom and dad of the tribe. And then I realized that Brandon is 29 or is about to turn 30 or just turned 30. So I think that, and then we're on a tribe of like 21-year-olds, 21, 22, 23, I think is like the rest of the ages in our tribe. So that made me a little nervous because it could turn into like an age thing, right? I don't think it will. We're not, actually on a deserted island. And even if we are, even though I'm 35, I mean, like, I think I can handle my own. But it always makes me nervous when the kids kind of rally together, because they do stay up all night. They do take notes about everything. I mean, it's like completely different players in the org community right now. But Sam B is someone on my tribe that I really think I can work with, not just because we're close in age, but we started to bond over Harry Potter, reality TV. She was one of the first people to respond back to me after I messaged them. I really have enjoyed my conversations with Brandon. He's a teacher. I'm a teacher. So I'm trying to find like the similarities between the people that I'm playing with. Like, how can I connect with them on a personal level? What's something outside of the game that we can bond over? To me, those conversations early on in the game are really critical. I coach competitive speech and debate. I think his name is Juan. Runs a color guard team or coaches for a color guard team. And while they're completely different, we're still working with students. We're still motivating people in performance-based elements. So I'm really trying to like pick apart my tribe mates meet me videos and find something that I do in my personal life that is really similar or relatable to something they do in their personal life. I even asked Juan, I was like, oh, do you have any of your performances on YouTube? I'm hopping on a plane. I could watch your color guard show and like, let you know what I think. So I'm really trying to show these people that I'm like motivated and I'm inspired to get to know them as a person first and as a player second. Izzy hasn't really messaged back. I've sent her a couple of messages. I think she's responded once, and Emily's been a little bit quiet too. But I'm hopeful that because Emily and I know of each other, it would be like a safe just let's not vote each other first kind of a thing. But I've planted some seeds with Sam. You know, she's a Gryffindor, I'm a Slytherin, and I've kind of been like, oh, you know, like a Gryffindor and Slytherin can be very dangerous if they come together and agree on their differences. And, you know, that could be really magical. So I'm planting little seeds there. I hope Sam knows that I've got her back. I hope Brandon knows that I've got his back. I'm going to work with Juan a little bit more and Emily a little bit more. There's definitely someone I'm forgetting. Which I
No,
guess
you. I
goes to
think
show you.
no. I think you touched them all. Touched them all.
Oh, and
Sandy.
then it would be me.
Yeah.
So I really like my tribe. I think that we've got a great breadth of personalities, like I said. But out of everyone in the tribe, I think, you know, my people on the tribe, not just because of age, but that's definitely how it started, is going to be Sam D and Brandon, just because we share a lot of personality traits, similarities, hobbies, those kinds of things. So I feel lucky that I got on the tribe that I got on. I just wish we had a better color than white. Ugh, it gotta be so vanilla. I like the purple tribe. That's cute. Like their colors and their name, like that's a cute one.
So you broke down a little bit of your tribe. Let's discuss the lights out twist. This is gonna be an underlying theme for this start of the season, and it is because we're in a bunker and it's so dimly lit, and our generator only pops up every tribal council night for 20 minutes. So you're not gonna know whether you won the challenge or not until you're gearing up to go to tribal. How do you think you're going to play this twist? How is it going to affect strategy and the dynamics of the tribe?
I'm actually really worried about this twist. But I also really love it. I'm worried because I feel like it's gonna push the strategy first, right? Like you don't know if you're gonna win. So everybody's gotta have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, like before and during immunity challenges, right? Like we're not gonna know if we lost or if we won or whatever. So we have to have a plan, because if we lose, we don't have much time to scramble and figure it out. So I'm nervous that it's going to be game 24/7, which is really exhausting and stressful and not how I play at all. But I also think that it's really going to showcase who's here for the right reasons. A lot of the times we get players in these games who really take a back seat. They ride on the coattails of winning. They don't really get to have strategical conversations, especially if there's a tribe that dominates the game. So I think this is going to force relationships and alliances really early on in the game, because you can't just rely on winning because you don't know if you're going to win. You can guess, but you have to have all of your ducks in a row. You have to have your people. So it's going to force you to play the game. And the people that aren't playing the game, I think are going to be easy votes because of the quick turnaround after we get results. So I don't know. It could go either way. I think I'm going to actually really love it, because it's going to push the limelight on strategy and gameplay. But I also think that's going to be the detriment, because it does mean that you have to constantly be on, because you have to constantly be ready to lose.
If you had to go to tribal council in the next 10 minutes, where would your vote go and why?
Izzy. She just hasn't talked to me. Is she the nurse? Can't remember. I watched so many Meet Me videos. But I just based on conversations that I've had, she's the only one that I haven't really connected with. And maybe that's my fault. Maybe that's her fault. I don't really know. But I've kind of gotten into a nice little roundabout conversation with my other tribe mates. Not so much Emily, but I think there's some trust there just because we know each other. So if you were to tell me you've got 10 minutes, where's the vote? I would vote for Izzy.
All right, Bill. Rocky, did you have any questions you want to throw at Bill right now for his first confessional?
The fortune teller twist. How do you feel about that? Would you be using that to your advantage? Like, are there already talks about that twist? I forgot who went from your tribe.
Emily went. So basically for this
Yes.
twist, I think people were afraid to stick their necks out there. So some kind of conversation in my tribe happened while I was busy with my students in DC, that we were just going to number ourselves based off of our banner. So whoever was the first picture got 1, the second picture got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I ended up being 5, which I wasn't terribly mad about because track 5 in every Taylor Swift album is like the best song ever. So I was like, okay, great. I'll just take the 5th one. That's fine. I don't know if we're going to stick with that or not. To me, nobody wants to like ruffle the feathers, especially on like day 1 or night 1 or week 1. You know, I really feel like if there are big game players and moves about this twist being made, no one's communicating those to me. I don't think there are. My tribe just seems to really kind of like, hey, you want to do this? Yes, that sounds good. And I really believe that that's what's happening. I'm not mad that Emily was the person that got to pick an item. I do think because her and I know each other, that could somehow benefit me. It does scare me a little bit because she knows how I play. I made it very far in the game that we played together. Actually was playing with Curtis and Jess. So to see Jess in another game with me, who I definitely, you could argue, screwed over, but I didn't really screw over her and Curtis. They're just emotional players, in my opinion. Well, Curtis definitely was. I haven't really talked to them since that game. That was 3 years ago. They were very upset with me for flipping a vote, even though I believe that I deserved to flip that vote and it was my decision to make based on how they were treating me. So there is going to be some drama in the game, I think, between Jess and I, but she does seem like a completely different person. But I know that Emily also played that game with us. So I'm not sure what Emily's connection with Jess is going to be. Because they were so embedded into the Skype community, I'm not sure what conversations they've had about me before this game. So I don't think that Emily would like use whatever power she got against me, but I also don't think she would tell me whatever she got was, especially this early on. I do believe that if we were to go to tribal, Emily wouldn't vote for me. I wouldn't vote for her. I'm hopeful that we would just use that initial connection and kind of keep things safe between us. So the fact that she's the first one that got an item, I'm not mad about, because if there's anybody on the tribe that could have gotten it besides me, I think I probably would have picked her just because we know each other. So I don't know if we're just going to keep those numbers that we assign to each other. It sounds like we might, but it really was just a suggestion and everybody agreed to it. So there really wasn't a big conversation about who should get what number and why. We just kind of tried to make it fair, which I'm all about, especially when you don't really know anyone. So I was happy with the number that I got. I was happy with how I distributed the numbers. I'm very excited and anxious to see what these items do and what their powers are. And hopefully we can just keep winning so we get the chance to pick all of the things that are on the table.
Okay. I think you touched on everything, Bill. You're very thorough with your speaking.
Yeah, feel free to cut me off because I can go on and on and on and on. Sorry, audience.
No, that's it for me though.
Okay, cool.
All right, Bill. Is there anything else you wanted to add that has been on your mind that we haven't touched on at all?
Not really. You guys are crazy. The graphics are dope. People who are watching, if there's ever a chance to play this game and you haven't, you should. I've been having fun and it's only been like 2 days. So thanks for casting me. Hopefully I can stick around and have some fun and show you all what I can do. And I'm very excited for our first physical competition because I want to take another test. I know I'm a teacher, but I teach speeches. I don't teach tests. So no more tests. Let's do like jumping on chairs and hanging from walls and all those things. I'm ready.
Cannot wait to see you flourish in this game. We appreciate you applying. It's like a fever dream having you here, Bill.
Oh,
and